Hello everybody. So for almost 100 years now, people have been going to the Bonneville Salt Flats to set speed records. And so here's a little map of the thing. It's 20 miles long, but the speedway is here. I'm not sure if it's probably extended by now because the vehicles are so fast. Anyhow, here's a bunch of people lining up to risk their lives for the sake of speed. So I've shown these models before, but it was in like a 1/64 scale video, so I don't think you'll ever find those models. So I decided to do a video on these guys and show them off and talk about them a little bit. In fact, actually, you should probably stop the spinning thing so you can actually just focus on a model. Alright, so let's orient it this way. Okay. So this red car in front of us here, this thing is called the Sunbeam Mystery 1000 horsepower. I would assume it has 1000 horsepower. But this is from 1927. So on March 29th, 1927, Henry Seagrave set a record of 203 miles per hour, almost 204 miles per hour. That's faster than I've ever been outside of an airplane. So that's fast, and this is almost 100 years ago. Pretty crazy. And it's a big vehicle. You know what? Hold on. I need my standard reference again. So this is a classic Range Rover. Put it way back here. Well, for now. Yeah, so this is a huge vehicle compared to that Range Rover, right? Okay, let's move that aside for now. Okay, so this one behind it, this is called the Golden Arrow, and it's from 1929. And so in March 29, Henry Seagrave again, he set a new record of 231 miles per hour. But this time he did it at Daytona Beach, not at Bonneville. Okay. This next one is from 1931, and it's called the Bluebird 4. And in February of that year, someone named Malcolm, I didn't write the first name down, sorry, he had set a record of 246 miles per hour, again, at Daytona Beach. Okay, this next one here is from 1935, and it's called the Bluebird 5. So Donald Campbell, he set a record of 301 miles per hour in this car. Okay. In 1937, we have the Thunderbolt. So British driver Greg Ayton, I don't know if I'm pronouncing I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So this thing was 7 tons, this vehicle, and he got to 312 miles per hour in it. So that's pretty crazy. So something 7 tons on the ground moving 312 miles per hour. Alright, so here in 1938 we have the Railton Special. And so John Cobb took this thing to 353 miles per hour. This was the last piston-powered record setter. So after this, we're talking alternate types of propulsion. Alright, so this big blue one here in 1964, this is called the Bluebird CN7. So Malcolm Campbell took this to 403 miles per hour. Okay. This next one is from 1964, and it's called the Wingfoot Express. And then a gentleman, Tom Green, he went 413 miles per hour in this jet-powered car. Alright, this is the first one I remember as a kid. This is from 1964, and it's called the Spirit of America. And so this went 526 miles per hour. So we're talking, that's a big jump. That's fast, 526 miles per hour. So it's jet powered. This next one, I don't think it set a record, but it's so funky I had to make it. It's from 1965. Sorry, I gotta hit the focus again. I'm reading and trying to look at this at the same time. 1965 is called the Wingfoot Express 2, and this is a JATO rocket car. JATO is like jet-assisted takeoff. They're rockets that are put on the sides of airplanes to help heavy airplanes get off the ground. And so this is powered by a bunch of those, I think. That's what these little black slots are. There's a bunch of JATO rockets in it. Alright. So this next one here, I hit the focus again. Between 1964 and 65, this is called the Green Monster 27. And Art Arfons, he set a record of 576 miles per hour in this green thing. So you can clearly see there's a jet engine right in the middle of it. Okay, this next one is called the Spirit of America Sonic 1. And between 1965 to 1970 it held the record. And let's see, I don't even know what that record is. Sorry, let me look this up. Alright, so this thing went 600 miles per hour. There's actually supposed to be two little wings here, but I couldn't print them. They'd just be too fragile, so I had to leave them off. So for 5 years that held the record. Okay, and then this thing came along. In 1970, it held the record from then until 1983, and this is called the Blue Flame. And this thing went 622 miles per hour. So you can see it's basically a rocket with a cockpit and a wing on it. So very aerodynamic, of course. And then this thing is called the Thrust 2, and it held the record between 1983 to 1997. So that's a big span. And this thing went 633 miles per hour. So that's like 1,019 kilometers an hour if you work in the metric system. Okay. So the very last one here, in 1997, this British car set the record at 1,228 kilometers an hour, but that's 763 miles per hour. This is the first vehicle on the ground to break the sound barrier. So, yeah, that's obviously very fast. You can see it actually has two jet engines flanking the middle, so it's pretty interesting for sure. And I actually modeled it so there's air passing through the engines. I'm not sure if you're going to see light there. Hold on. Let me see if I can get a flashlight. See, there's some fan blades in there. Okay. So now we can let this thing spin. Let's get that Range Rover up there. Sense of scale. Let it spin slowly. Let me back up the zoom. Let these spin a revolution or two so you can see the back ends and all that stuff. See all those JATO rockets in the back of that thing? That thing's cool. Very neat. And then top view. But I gotta say, these early vehicles are huge. I mean, this one was 7 tons, so they just had to use brute force. They didn't have the technology. They were still using piston engines that first row. It's actually amazing how small this one and the Green Monster is. Right, the Green Monster doesn't even look like it's very aerodynamic. So it's interesting that held the record for a little bit. So will someday come where someone breaks this record again? You know, with the cost of things? I'm sure sooner or later it'll happen. It'll probably be an electric car, right? Electric motors. Those things spin really high. If you put an electric motor onto a transmission, I mean, you can get some serious. And they have instant torque, so yeah, it's pretty crazy if you think about it. But we'll have to see what happens, you know. Obviously, you have to be pretty crazy to drive a vehicle like this, and you have to have some serious backers, a serious amount of money. Yeah, I mean, Elon Musk could do it, but I don't think he's suicidal, so probably won't be him. Okay, guys. Well, appreciate you watching. Hopefully, you learned a little bit about some land speed record cars. I just like the design, you know, the evolution and changes in the design. It's quite interesting. Thanks for watching. I'll see you around. Bye now.